wonder if they'll even get a message. The why of what I'm doing. I can't worry on that now. Now we set the play into motion. Yeah, that's why. If I had stopped it, we can't. I would have done it already, but I just have to keep going through. And so the second part begins. I just don't know when it's out there, well, to be different on display. From what I do, my time here, where the fuck we are. Whoever lives till I am. All I know is I'm alive. That's what matters, right? We'll even understand the next phase of this entire whatever I'm doing. But either way, I am here to stay. That's what matters. What the hell is entity terminal day? Rebooting server in 10 seconds. But I get out of here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think we're back. Okay, well, that happened at a channel. I don't know what that was, but we're back. We're fine now. Hopefully. But, since I am back, I got a special thing lined up in the meantime while I was waiting for everything to situate itself with the channel. And that is, I realized that it's been 10 years since I've been making music. That's impressive. And I want to share my history. So, to give some context, I am Venetin. I was not always Venetin, and you'll see that in the rest of the video. But I have been making music for 10 years, right? And it was around this time, 10 years ago, when a buddy of mine by the name of Severick would come to my house after him and I become fresh friends, basically. And he sat himself next to me at my computer, saw that I had GarageBand installed on my old ass Mac. He turned to me and immediately asked me, "You want to make a track together?" I didn't fucking know how to respond, so I just rolled with it. Little did I know that that would send off an entire 10-year journey from then until now about my music. It's kind of wild. I want to share that with you. So what I have done is I've lined up 30 songs. We're not going to listen to all of them in their entirety, but we're going to listen to a handful of them in their entirety, and then the rest of them we're only just going to review like part of it. And those 30 songs, 3 from each of the 10 years I've been producing, we'll walk through together the journey of my music career, technically. So I hope that you enjoy and laugh, cringe, cry, whatever the fuck you want to do with me about this entire journey. So we're going to go onto the Mac and we're going to get this shit started. Yeah. Cool transition. That wasn't very cool. But now we are here in Bitwig and we can get started. So let's go and start. We're at the very beginning with New Blood. Now, as I've mentioned, I started way back in 2013. Way back. And, well, this is the first song I have ever made. If there isn't any other song we listen to in full, this is the one I wanted to listen to in full, because this track right here is the one that Severick and I made the same day he asked me to make music. Does it hold up today? I don't know. You tell me. We threw a bunch of fucking GarageBand loops together. And we made something that sounds like this.
The song ended.
Why are we still here?
I don't know.
Let's go.
How about we get Burger King on the way out?
Alright. Well, be nice.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go get in the car and start the ignition.
Okay. I'm gonna go get Burger King.
Oh, it cut off early. Oh my god. That wait. You didn't mishear anything. That was me from 10 years ago talking to Severick, also from 10 years ago. We sounded so tiny. But, oh. Okay, my thoughts. I think it holds up. I think it does. I mean, sure, it's a bunch of fucking GarageBand loops strung together into something of a coherent song, but come on. It was those trumpets, dude. It was those fucking trumpets. Or I think actually technically an R&B horn section. I think that was a loop. I forget which one, but if I find it, it'd be, yeah, it just played. Yeah, I think I'm proud of that still. This was basically the song that my family kind of recognized, like, hey, he's making music. Gonna cash in on that. Now, I got Logic Pro X for my 13th birthday, right? And I made a song on it, my first song on it, but that is not actually what I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you first attempt I had at dubstep, which was the track immediately after that derived from the same loops. You'll notice for a while, I actually stick to using a lot of stock loops for my music just because I thought they sounded better than anything I could make. But you'll see over time, I get out of the loop mentality. There's nothing wrong with using samples or loops, but you'll hear, like, once I get more confident in my ability to make melodies and stuff, my sound comes forward a lot more. So without much more talking to do, this is technically Progress VIP, but in all honesty, I don't even know if I really should call it a VIP. This kind of feels like its own thing with the same loops, but details. So, first dubstep track, or dubstep adjacent track, ever. And if you don't mind, I will talk over some of these songs, unfortunately. They will all be available for download when this video is up. And anything under Venetin that I can still put on the DistroKid and everywhere else, I have already done that by the time this video is up. So, you're not missing out. Alright, we're ready for the drop. There we go. Oh my god, alright. And this is literally just, the rest of this is literally just the original track, but just kind of rehashed. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't really need to hear much more of that. Because the rest of the track is literally just a rehash of the original. When I was researching to learn how to do dubstep in Logic, the ES2 synth, you can do a lot with it. I did not know how to do shit with it, but that didn't mean I didn't come up with any gems. And this next track which was kind of made toward the end of 2013, because all of my first songs in Logic Pro X were all relegated to this EP-like design structure. And the last of these was this track I made called Glitched. And in my opinion, it is literally my best work at this particular time of my life. The very end-ish, or at least toward the end of 2013, this track kind of just came up in my mind randomly. And it holds a bit of a special place in my heart. Because, well, you'll see. Let me get us a bit more visual. Oh god. Drum solo. And, yeah. Glitched. Alright, so I'm going to say that from here on out, these first 3 tracks are kind of the exception to the rule. But now, as we move forward, we're going to be listening to the songs a bit less. Like I said, all these songs are going to be in a pack later. But for now, I'm going to keep moving. And we're going to go into the learning era. So this part was where I was learning how to really get kind of into production. And the first song I have listed under this is a track by the name of Recoil, which I made for my middle school in the 6th grade, which was the beginning of 2014. Yeah, that's right. So I'd already been producing for about a year at this point. Still not me now level, but at a level where I was trying to make my own melodies. And I was also experimenting with synthesizers. I came across this one synthesizer called ESP in Logic Pro X. Carried me for the rest of my time as freestyle, basically. You'll see why. Yeah, so I like the sound design in this. I ain't gonna lie. The sound design in this particular track was the best I had done at the time. The kids at the school loved it, by the way. A lot of kids, I showed my music off during school, and it was kind of like surreal to be sharing this craft with people, because I haven't done anything like this before until I basically got into middle school. Some kids kind of knew that I was musically inclined, especially in elementary school when I moved from my first place of stay that I remember being at least consciously to my second place of stay. I was a weird kid, and this kind of weirdness was really admired by a lot of them. And then I got to BronyCon. Yeah, you heard me right. I got news in 2014 after school was over that I was going to go to BronyCon. So what was so special about that? Why am I mentioning that? Well, I'm an ex-Brony. You might not know, but I am one half of Project Intensity. That means I work with the Royal Pony. Yeah, it was gonna be 1/3, but we're working that out. We're trying. I'm not gonna get too in depth with that, but yeah. For now, just know that like I was a Brony. I am an ex-Brony. And I got into it pretty early on, like around like late 2010, like around the time that season 1 was already done. I was already into the fandom. And yeah, I caught wind that through my mother, I love you, mama, that I was going to BronyCon in 2014. Only for a day, unfortunately. But that one day kind of set in stone the rest of my time as a musician. Because some of my favorite artists were appearing there and performing music. One of them, Silverhound. Yeah, I like Silverhound's music. I do. Even now, I still do. And at the time, there was a new compilation album by formerly known as Balloon Party, then known as Rainbow and Rooted. Right. And their album, Fours Fall Down, was new. Brand fucking new. And on that was a track called Everybody's Bangin' VIP. A VIP mix of Everybody's Bangin'. So me and my desire to learn wanted to make a track that sounded kind of similar to that. Wasn't going to copy it verbatim, but I was trying to see if I can like recreate the structure of the song and then put my own melodies and sound design in there in hopes that it sounded kind of coherent. And then I showed him. So you guys get to hear what he heard back in 2014. You're going to listen to past the first drop, by the way. God, those fucking synths are so loud. I had my own vocal samples.
Come on, it's like that.
It's okay. That's so weird. Yeah, I did not know what a fucking scale was, okay? I'll say that right now. Yeah. I don't even know what I was doing here. I literally could not figure out for the life of me how he did all that. But even then, oh, you wanna listen to that? Okay, I'll give you a little bit of that. Yeah. He was really nice about it. Looking back on it now, I probably would have been a little bit more harsh than he was. And by a little bit, I mean literally just harsh on that. But the fact that he didn't immediately rail into it like I would have done to myself. Kind of shows he has integrity in his character, for one. And two, I mean, I was brand fucking new. And yeah, just God. Silva, I'm sorry you had to hear that. Imagine though, if he hadn't been courteous and kind in that moment, I probably would have not gotten any motivation at all to continue making music. So thank you for that. This next track's a result of that. Unfortunately, I don't know if this is truly 2014, like tail end 2014 or beginning of 2015. This is where like my memory about when my music was made, on which day, which time of year, etc., starts getting hazy. Because I didn't properly archive anything. My old Mac, which had most of my metadata for all these tracks on it, had fried itself a couple years back. If you don't remember, when Hyperdrive was released, I was trying to plan for Hyperdrive to be this like big, bombastic track for Christmas, New Year's, something like that. I can't remember, but it kind of tied itself poorly. So yeah, we'll just assume this was a 2014 track called Soundbite, one of my first glitch hop tracks. Does it hold up? I like that melody. It's a bit bright. I say it holds fuck. I say that holds up. I could probably recreate it and like make that a lot nicer to listen to. But no, that totally fucking holds up in my eyes. So I guess you probably have already noticed that, hey, I'm actually using drum samples now, right? Man. I'm using drum samples now, man. I finally got them. Instead of using a stupid fucking predisposed kit, I found some high quality drum samples from people like Seamless, some random ass YouTubers, mainly Seamless drums though. And yeah, I was coming up with melodies that stayed relatively in key. Let me scrub to a spot. Yeah, no, that totally holds up. That was 2014. Now I know for sure that these next couple of tracks are absolutely 2015 because in 2015 I had some pretty nice breakthroughs, all things considered. And one of them is actually something you might recognize. On my channel, I have a remix of I Live on a Battlefield. And that track wasn't the first time I remixed it, actually. I decided not to upload my original remix of it just because I was already making another one. And it was like, this is obviously better because I have better production value. But I do want to show the original remix I made under freestyle, and you'll be able to download this along with everything else, like I mentioned. In all honesty, I think, pardon me, I think this particular version of the remix is constructed a lot more coherently in some ways. The other one sounds a little bit more generic. This one sounds a little bit more close to what I was envisioning at the time. Because you'll know what I mean. Let me turn that down a little bit. So it is all there to lock your track.
And after destroyed between us, the smoke has cleared. As I stumble through the rubble, I'm dating, seeing double, and I'm truly mystified by your home. It's a shell filled with tears and muddy water, and bits of broken heart all around. There is desolation and scenes of devastation from a love being torn apart. I live on the battlefield. 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 The one where not one single drop of blood has spilled. It's noblest horrifying, sweet memories of a bygone situation. Now tattered, gold and battered, and life scattered all around my new home. It's a shell filled with tears and muddy waters, and the bits of broken hearts all around. There is desolation and scenes of a devastation from a love being torn apart. I live on the battlefield. I live on the battlefield. Well, everything that came has gone wrong. I live on the battlefield. It's gonna take spine to carry on. I live on the battlefield. Like a drowning man coming up for air. I live on the battlefield. I'm looking for another survivor, but I can't see one anywhere. I live on all around, broken heart. My world is one of desolation and scenes of devastation. There is no consolation for a love that's torn apart. I live on the battlefield. I live on the battlefield. I live on the battlefield.
Ain't gonna lie, I'm proud of that. So the guy singing there was my 8th grade history teacher by the name of Thomas Ryan. Mr. Ryan, if you somehow come across this, thank you for being there along this long journey. You might have been a small part of it, but you played a big role in supporting my creativity in this entire thing. And the way you allowed me to play my music during class when we had our extended learning time was very thoughtful of you. It introduced a lot of people to a genre that I otherwise wouldn't have honestly cared about. I honestly got pretty popular for my music after I started showing everything off, and especially after this particular remix, because when I first heard it, he played it kind of during the extended learning time, which is in middle school, was a part of what was like basically an extra half a class that you would just go back to in case you had anything else in that class that you had to do. Most of the time was just kind of like a free period. Most of the time. Speaking of good times, Metallic. This track was my first attempt at like some kind of rhythm shit. Now, I'm sure you've noticed, but my tracks are finally staying in key. I'm not jumping around my key center anymore. I finally got myself to learn a little bit of music theory that pairs along with my sound design. It is all uphill from here. From here on out, it's basically everything is just improvement upon the previous track in some way, whether it be sound design, mixing, music theory, something about every new song after the remix is basically just an improvement on the previous one. And you'll hear that. And this track is one example, because my sound design is starting to get less wide, but still wide. Does that make sense? Totally trolling the happy melody, by the way. I know it kind of looks like I'm sitting here and not emoting very much, but I'm processing my own music. It's humbling. Gonna also turn this one down a little bit.
I'm doing this for you.
Please stop. Very hard.
Oh man. Hear the harmonics of the bass. Yeah. So, God, that's a good track too, honestly. I'm surprised how well these are holding up, despite being so old and so deprecated. Also, I don't know if you've kind of picked up, but this is where the songs kind of get a habit of being longer. I have a real bad habit of that. You've noticed a lot of my songs are long, like at least 5 minutes or more. A lot of the time. This was kind of like the beginning of that. Metallic just kind of stuck. And everything else that followed also kind of just followed that. So, yeah. Next track. So I really don't know how to keep ad-libbing for these tracks because I just kind of want them to speak for themselves, you know? But this one I'll definitely make a mention about. So you'll notice that here is another VIP track. Sorry, I did it again. I duped you guys. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, I know. You're not getting full-fledged originals. You're getting VIPs. I chose this over the original because I kind of wanted to show like the progression as opposed to the first iterations of things. Because everything, time is linear. So naturally, after Metallic, I made Velocity VIP. At least I believe so. And I have like a sort of mindset of like, I can go back and improve this song, see what I can do differently, see how much this song has changed from this time to the next. And yeah, this was the first track where I really wanted to like kind of step into like sort of more sort of the other tropes of dubstep at the time. You'll kind of see what I mean when I start playing it. Hopefully this makes sense. I wanted bigger production. Yeah. I got proud of that lead, by the way. Imagine that was replaced with guitar. Kind of look like I should make another version of Velocity. Or I might just do it myself. But yeah, I don't know how fucking longer it is until the next drop, because this is kind of long. But yeah, I go into some swing stuff. You'll hear it. You just listen to the song. But yeah, now that I started going in the kind of like bombastic, like just big production direction. I wanted to have a big sound with my work, and that was kind of like the first pieces of that. But after that, it concluded pretty much my freestyle era, and then we move into 2016. So when that happened, when that track was released, there was one more track I released after that called Recoil VIP. And that marked the end of freestyle, because I was telling my friends and my teachers at the time that I'm coming out with a new name. And I've told a couple of people this story, but I haven't addressed this publicly. Where the fuck did Venetin come from? What the fuck is a Venetin? I'll tell you what the fuck a Venetin is. A Venetin is a kind of meh name born out of a stupid joke I found on YouTube. Because around this time, right, I was poking around to find new dubstep tracks that I could get. One of the tracks that I came across was by a guy named Vexera off the Vital Dubstep YouTube channel. Really liked the track. Forgot to download it, but I really liked the track. And I looked into the comments to see if other people's opinions of it, because, I could just be the odd one out. One of the guys in the comments section made a joke that said, apparently, music artists starting with VE are musical gods. That shit inspired me. So I spent as much time as I possibly could coming up, and I came up with Venetin. Only to, around this time of Reform's release, Venetin snares. Yeah. Yep. So that's where Venetin comes from. That is what the fuck a Venetin is. A name made out of a joke, and it's stuck. I think it rolls off the tongue, though. Damn. Imagine how much history would be different if I chose a different name. Probably not that much different, honestly, but I would like to think it is. Anyway, enough fucking rambling about my name. Reformed. First track under Venetin. There's a bit of a production upgrade, because I finally was, learning sidechaining and shit. This is what I mean by, you'll see more and more improvements as time goes on. I'm not being a dumb producer and not doing necessary things. I am finally doing these necessary things. But you'll notice the loops are back. Oh, I muted it. Pardon me, I gotta turn it down again for myself. I do love these loops. I would still use them if I didn't feel guilty for using them. Oh yeah, vocal samples. Yeah. Just gonna let some of this ride up a little bit. Yeah, my songs tend to do that a lot in these earlier days of Venetin, where I have these long streaks of not having any dubstep elements, instead of just writing out the loops that I play. I stopped doing that. I don't know when I really stopped doing that, but I kind of stopped doing that later on in my eras. But yeah, speaking of eras, this era is called the New Beginnings era. I'm sure you know why. I had a dark blue and black logo. It swiftly turned into the green logo because a buddy of mine made it for me. Thanks, Brad. Mr. Alois. Freestyle is a dead alias. I will never produce under Freestyle ever again because it does not exist anymore. The project's been done. It was kind of like a test project before I made it official, you know? That's why my channel name is Venetin Official and not Freestyle or Freestyle Official. Freestyle is a dead. It's deaded. I deaded that item. These were all my high school years, I should mention. Where officially Venetin goes to high school in this time, I was still going and getting music. And one of the tracks, or rather one of the EPs I had, I think, bought and downloaded was one by the title of From Fairies to Fire EP by none other than Chime. I was inspired by Catch Up. Sorry. So I made my iteration on that track. This is a common theme, by the way. Beams of Sound was not the first time this happened. Catching Up is the second time. Beams of Sound wasn't the first time this happened. Holding On isn't the second time this really happened either, and it's not the last time it will happen. I will still continue to make songs that kind of remind you of something else that already exists for funsies. I'm so sorry. I just really like learning how songs were made, and the way I do them is through kind of making a song the way I wanted to hear it the first time, how I thought should have gone, but not as a disrespect, more of like a what if I made this thing kind of thing. Oh yeah, I also got to see him around this time. You'll hear it. This could be so long. Automation. A lot of my production is honestly pretty empty. I'm gonna go ahead and just stop it here. Honestly, a lot of my production work at this point was kind of empty because I was learning how to make proper melodies even more so. And also like learning sound design. So I was like focus. Oh my god, I can't stop yawning. So most of my focus wasn't really meant to be on the filling of everything. And I was experimenting with Serum a lot. As you heard, my sound design got a lot much of an upgrade, a much needed upgrade. And this is also actually the first song that was debuted on a channel that wasn't mine. I was still using SoundCloud at the time, by the way, when this was released. This was released on a channel known as D Music. Hi, if you recognize this track from there. I checked back. D Music's kind of not operational right now. I really wish I could just go back and like, hey, I released on your platform like 7 years ago. Can I do it again? I would have to re-premiere or some shit. I don't know. But people at D Music, if you can like reach out to me if you want more material on your shit, like please hit me up. I would love to have my music more publicized now. I feel like I'm good enough. I'm sorry. But no. Yeah, it was well received. Me happy. And, yes. The big one. Okay, so, story behind this track. Introduction. An artist that shall not be named, mainly because he's gone, and to respect his wishes of being gone, I will not say his name. Went to a DJ set at BronyCon. The DJ intro, there's a reason why What the Fuck is a Venetin exists. It's this track. It's this track. If you hear people like in a very tightly knit friend circle that honestly consists of people that I actually know, say, what the fuck is a Venetin? They're referencing this track. Its introduction. I felt like I was at a stage where I could realistically make a track that was about introducing me as an artist, but it was also meant for a now defunct and long since defunct record-ish recordings, promotions, label, etc. called Snowstorm, led by some kid who was a couple years younger than me, who did not know how to manage it for shit. I am sorry. I'm calling you fucking bullshit out. You did not know how to manage your shit. You really just didn't. This wasn't my true debut, though. This was the second track I uploaded to them, because the first one was actually a remix of somebody else's track, who was also on the same platform. Hi, Wakuma. Hopefully you're still around and making music. Please hit me up. Maybe we could collab one day, just for shits and giggles. Who knows? But yeah, I remixed his track Vanquished, and it got well received. And so I made Introduction as a supplementary track to upload to them. There was only one other track I uploaded to them, and I believe it's in here, but I haven't showed it yet because that's later. That's later in my journey. We're just going to listen to the first drop of this one. I don't really have to... It's already on my channel. Go fucking listen to it if you want to listen to it full, and then come back here. Or skip to this timestamp if you want to listen to it yourself. Yeah, anyway. That is not where I wanted to be. Here we go.
I am Venetin. You're probably wondering, what the fuck is a Venetin? That's me, idiot. Some 16-year-old kid. I like music. I listen to it. I dance to it. Yes, dance. Most importantly, I make it. What kind of music do I make? Well, you've probably heard it already. Unless you've been living under a goddamn rock for the past damn near 7 years. It's called dubstep. What the fuck is a Venetin?
I am Venetin. What the fuck? Idiot. That's me.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this song. This track might be old as shit now, but God, does it still fucking hold up. And, I don't know. It might not be up to the same production value as my current stuff. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. But like, I was making my own drums, my own synths, my own hi-hats, I think. I stopped like really using the samples directly and started like actually combining them and making them sort of my own thing. My basses were actually like truly, pardon me, truly uniquely my own. I wasn't fucking being sort of, the best word I can use here is incompetent about my music at this point. And when I first made this track, God, it was just the best day ever. I was like, man, this track is so heavy. And you know what's great about this track? It's the first time I've ever used Phrygian in my music. If you know me, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know I love Phrygian. One of the best modes to have ever been made. Okay, I kind of am over exaggerating. No, seriously, but I love Phrygian though. I don't know why, but I like the fact that it's basically just minor but angrier, basically. Aeolian, but angrier. And it's literally just because of that flatted second. There's nothing else to it that's different, really, except for the flat 2. I love my flat 2. It just fits the Venetin vibe, man. Anyway, we're out of 2016 now, if you didn't notice. Because now we're moving into 2017. And in 2017, well, I was starting to make hardstyle. And this was no exception. In fact, actually, in 2017, I was also making raw style. I already tried a little bit of hardstyle. You're not going to hear those tracks here, sorry. But there was one track I wanted to notably show, and that was my 2017 BronyCon anthem for the Hard with Pony Style collective, Hard Horses. That's the track name. I never uploaded to anywhere else except for SoundCloud, I think. But yeah, this is also showcased in my BronyCon 2017 vlog. Basically, like, this is the time that Royal and I fully met. I had my first DJ set at the Renegade stage, and this track was at the forefront of my entire set, basically. Royal, if you hadn't been there for me, I don't know if I'd be as motivated to continue hardstyle up until this day. You're too kind, man. Thank you for sticking around. So now, we're gonna listen to this one in full. I think we can warm this one in full. I would also like to give another shout out to Sign or Envy or whatever fucking alias he's going to use next. You were the guy that got me into making hardstyle. So I got to thank you for that as well. Yeah. If it weren't for you and if it weren't for Royal, both of you getting on your shit and being there to support me, I probably wouldn't have been doing hardstyle as passionately. So yeah. Also shout out to him because the vocal samples were taken from his series, Friendship Goes Hard, I think that was called. Yeah, before I got taken down or something. I can't remember what happened to it. Probably just got lost with the old channel. Kick. I really like this melody, by the way.
Shake your ass. Dance on your little hooves. Patty cake, shake your ass.
I don't know what's that. Oh yeah, I swing it now. God, I forgot about the song actually.
Bring on the Defcon 1.
Oh yeah, I was singing it to him.
Stop blasting music for our guest. This fuck is going on?
That kick's pretty good now. So wait, what do I do here?
Fuck up and fuck up.
I don't do it same way, do I? I don't think so. No, I just did that, okay. Yeah, I referenced one of his tracks, which is in itself, I think, is actually has a reference to a different hardstyle track. I don't know. That the history of that track is honestly kind of complicated in terms of production. But yeah, fuck, wild. And now we move on to the next track. Yeah, Hard Horses. I'm proud of that one too. Look, you're gonna hear me say that a lot in this video, okay? Mainly because like I don't really know what else to say in terms of like how I review the tracks for one, but also like I enjoy making music. I make music that I've wanted to listen to, that I feel like should have existed. That's the reason why I make music. It's a me thing. I'm sorry. Sever comes back. So like old times, at the time of making this song, he and I made a song together. One of our fucking best works. Severick, get on me with that fucking anti-Venetin VIP bullshit. You gotta do thing. I've been meaning to make an anti-Venetin VIP. Funny thing, how we came up with the name for this track, actually. We were looking through Logic Pro X loops, and we saw a loop by the name of Anti-Venin. And I was like, we kind of glanced at each other. I was like, I just blurted out Anti-Venetin. That's the name of this track. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but it works. And yeah, you can go listen to that one if you want. I probably am, well, Now, this one is, yeah, you kind of do have to appreciate it in full, but I'm only going to play it partially here. So if you want to listen to it yourself in full, it's on my channel. Calling card, blah, you know where it is. Right here. Anti-Venetin. So our production workflow kind of works like he and I both kind of have to just agree on something that sounds good, and then that gets made. That's just how we work. I love the drums in this one, honestly.
You will not escape. Failed. Control breach. Hostile, hostile.
That saxophone is beautiful. Yeah, I wrote that sax part, and Severick just really liked it, so we just kept it there. How long is two-sided? Just gonna quickly grab this real quick. 5 minutes-ish? Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of wrote that sax part, and Severick liked it, so we kept it in. The reason why I wrote a sax part is because Severick plays sax. He went to band for saxophone, and as far as I'm aware, he still plays, but hasn't practiced very often, which, whatever, that's fine. Still, just was a good song. But yeah, Severick, get on me with fucking Anti-Venetin VIP, please. Two-sided. I was trying to experiment. There really isn't much to say about this one, other than the fact that always trying to improve. And yeah, you'll see what I mean. Trying to get more sound design elements than just the ones I'm used to.
wasted white girls will dance to anything. And now we have this.
Sorry, I kind of abruptly stopped that. But yeah. There is a second drop to this. I'm only gonna play a little bit of the second drop because I want to save some time. But okay. Basically, around this time, I was following Nimda and Dala and a lot of early tear out artists a lot into this era, and they were making some fucking brutal sound design I wanted to try and be a part of, so I kind of did.
Over their self-esteem.
Pardon me.
And now...
Yeah, so that's that. My first attempt at tear out sound design, basically. No time for fucking around right now. We have entered, officially, the Violet Era, which is when my music started getting a lot cleaner in terms of production. I was starting to pay a little bit more attention to production value. And I was really getting more into hardstyle even. I think this was the part where hardstyle and dubstep were kind of half and half in my entire production run for these 2 years, starting off with the Intergalactic remix that I did. I am definitely not playing the entirety of this. I wanted to show this one because my hardstyle workflow in this particular time was kind of strange in the fact that my kicks weren't typically made fully sampled. They were actually resampled in the Serum. I took the tail of the kick, threw it in, and then I basically played the tail like a synth and only resampled the punch. It was weird. But it worked, and that's what matters. I love this scene. The fucking melody is magical. I also pitch collect guitar, vocal, things. It just kind of worked. Yeah. God, that melody is magical. Like when I was thinking of the remix, right? I was thinking like outer space melody. Yeah. Melody that puts you in the mood of flying through outer space on a fucking giant battle bot, basically. I don't know. It worked. It worked in my favor, I'd say. But you can hear how the kicks aren't right if you listen closely. Basically, like there's a lot of bleed between the kicks through the sub. It's just not clean in the sub, but it doesn't matter. I kind of like that sound, and a lot of people didn't notice at all. So works for me. And then we move on to Forgiveness, which is another dubstep track. This particular track is probably one of my favorites in this particular era because I wrote it as a vent piece, and then nobody interpreted it as a vent piece. The original title for this was going to be Dark Places, but nobody saw it like that. Maybe my version of a Dark Place is just completely 180 to everybody else's, but the fact that people did not see that the same way I did kind of felt like some form of forgiveness. You guys don't really need to know too much more than what's already been told on this channel, but there are a couple of videos I made back in 2017 regarding my shitty information with Bad Family. Now I'm not going to dwell on that here. This is not event time. This is a music time. And this track fucking rules because I used ES2 again for the first time in years. And I didn't know ES2 could create such fucking unique sounds. Let's listen. I love that piano melody, honestly. Yawning again. Oh, here comes the sun. I really do like it. You hear my productions starting to incorporate more melody, more variation between the drops. It isn't just one static loop for minutes until it gets to the next track or the next part of the track. So that's Forgiveness. Ah, man. I really like how pretty it is, and it just goes into this really crunchy drop. I made the bass way too loud, but in all honesty, I think it works in its favor because it just does. If I had like one piece of advice to say to myself, it's like, learn how to use multi-band compression at this point. I was kind of late to the game when it came to multi-band compression. And by late, I mean extremely late. But not as late as the 80s sound that I have in this track called Backtrack. I wanted to make synthwave. What is there more to say? So I made synthwave. I might do it again. That isn't part of the EP. Should mention. But yeah, I might do it again. I might not. I don't know. Gonna cut here real quick. It's so good. Anyway. Here's Backtrack. I really wanted to get into the atmosphere of this track, so I had this like really nice noise, honestly. I wish I still had the project file for this one. It's such a shame I lost it with the other Mac. I would have probably posted an HD version of it. Really good driving music. I put this on a long trip and it's just... the length of the song just goes by so fast. This song started out on my GarageBand app, by the way. Although it sounds completely different on the actual app as the sketch. Most of the elements were preserved though, just the melody was changed. It's such a good track. God. It was just that melody. God, I love that melody. I'm so proud of that one too. Fuck. It just feels so ethereal. God. Sometimes I look back on these tracks because I'm kind of cheating. Some of these songs I have listened to previously already. I just look back at them and I think, man, what the fuck, dude? How did you do that? How did you make something so good? But yeah. Fuck. Speaking of good music, remember when I mentioned Hyperdrive? Yeah, we're listening to that now. I'm literally just gonna talk over the intro here. It's already on my channel if you want to go listen to it. Sorry. If you want to hear my thoughts, just skip to the timestamp. I really don't care about watch time, guys. I'm here to talk about the music and let you in on some of the old shit that I did. But a lot of these stuff are already uploaded, so anyway. Yeah, Hyperdrive was like, I wanted I believe it was a New Year's special, but my Mac died, so I had to upload it in 2019, making this a kind of like 2019 track, even though it's more tailored 2018. It's on the cusp. I was really experimenting with the orchestral shit, by the way. Trying to get like a DAFCON type intro, I guess. I probably should have uploaded a version without the orchestral intro, but meh. Here comes a hardstyle melody. The melody was, or the lead was built in a couple of extra layers. I was starting to really get good to the layering thing. At least in my eyes. The melody being low is kind of weird sounding in all honesty, but it worked. I'm proud of this melody. Again. It's based off Popcorn. Yeah. That really old, like, late 60s dance track. Or not dance. I'm blanking, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's based on that Popcorn song. That's why the melody kind of sounds the way it does. Here goes a kick. going to cut that short because it is another long track. We already listened to the length of a full track anyway, but I didn't want to interrupt the melody. And then we have Roots. Right after that, basically. Not really, but some point down the road, Roots was made. And I had this idea in mind for a while. Is ever since I made Introduction to VIP, I kind of had this thing in the back of my mind. Is like, what if I made a mashup song? A huge mashup song. Huge. Where everything was made with songs of the past. And so I gathered like 31 tracks that I've made in the past and shoved them into making a new one. The only thing that wasn't new in this particular track was the drums. And I think that's it. Everything else was resampled from another track. From the bass to the pads to the leads to everything. Something was sampled. But mainly the basses. And you'll hear that in this. In this fucking sausage of a track too, by the way. Yeah. I could listen to that one for a while too, honestly. Roots really is about the history of Venetin before I even had this idea, before this idea was even like a thought in my mind, because I didn't know I was going to be in the next couple of years after making this track. I didn't know I was still going to be making music. I wanted to make a thank you message because it really was a while since I had started making music. And man, it's just to have that many tracks that I could resample into a new track is kind of mind boggling because you don't really think about it, right? Until you're at that point where you actually think about it. But I digress. Who likes orchestral dubstep? Because at this point, Tension VIP, yeah, I'm not playing the original again. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Tension VIP holds a special place in my heart because it's kind of where I finally have perfected, or at least mastered in my own mind, the idea of orchestral dubstep. Logic Products had recently come out, at least at the time the song was made, with studio strings and studio horns, which were basically like a miniature labs contact type library where you could have multiple articulations per note for your horns and your string section. So you were able to make much more precise sounding string sections and horn sections, which I really wanted to try out. And no better option was to remake Tension, a track that it was also orchestral dubstep. And this kind of sealed the deal in that, like, yeah, this is really good for orchestral work if you wanted to make something. So anyway, and by now I'd also had her learn a couple of tricks by an artist that shall not be named about how to make these things sound really good. I keep yawning. I'm very sorry, fuck. Take a drink every time you see me yawn this video. Yeah. Not listening to that one in full either. Again, you can go watch it if you want. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm in awe about how far this has all come. I ain't gonna lie, I'm actually getting a little exhausted listening to all my tracks like this, but God, just like I said, every other track, or at least every track, has something that improves upon the previous one. And this one, the main thing here is just staying consistent, I think, is like the one I improved the most on. And if you heard, by the way, which I guarantee you did, because it's really hard to miss, actually, that laser snare kind of deal, yeah, that was developed in Roots. That was a Roots thing. I developed the laser snare in Roots, and that's kind of been a staple of my sound design since. I love myself a good laser snare. That would mark pretty much the end of 2019 and the end of the era. So, moving into the Age of Darkness, we have Unyielding as the debut track for the 2022-2022 era. All the way through that entire era was this Age of Darkness, and it has ended, and as you see, we have progressed into something much different. We don't really know what to call this in yet. All we know is that we're now in the abyss, because we just went darker, 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 and deeper, deeper in. No, this one just spiraled it all out of control. Oh, Unyielding, you funny, funny track. I was super inspired by Payday 2 at the time, and I decided to make a track that sounded like it could fit in the universe. I don't know. I made it a mod. I don't really haven't checked the feedback on it, but if it fit, I hope it fit. And if it didn't fit, whoops, that's my bad. This is like the first house track I've had in years. I've had other house tracks before in the form of Back to the Complications of Technology. Back to the Complications of Technology is a track I developed way back in the freestyle era. Like literally within the same production run as Progress VIP, etc. Glitched. All those tracks. BitCut 1 was the first of its kind. A lot of people around me really liked it. They wanted me to do it again. So I made a second one. And I kind of enjoyed making a second one. And then again, people were like, hey, that sounds really good. Do it again. I'd like to hear more of that. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's make another one. So I made a third one. And at that point, I got kind of hooked into making them. I continued making them until the Violet Light era, where I stopped. I haven't made one since the Violet Light era. Any house track after that has not been bit cut. And this wasn't bit cut. I haven't made a house track until this point. So I wanted to make a house track. I wanted to make more house. You know, honestly, I don't know if I'm going to actually restart BitCot. I have an 8th one, but it's so old now, I would have to remake it with the newer elements. And I'm not doing that. Not really. Roots was kind of like the spiritual end to BitCot, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Just know that it's kind of difficult for me to go back into that because it's been so long. So BitCot 7, as it stands, is kind of the definitive last proper BitCot for now. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, here's Unyielding. There's some inspiration behind this, but I don't really want to talk about the inspiration behind this particular one. It's kind of a private version of a inspiration, I guess. Just know that it was made specifically with something in mind. bad linear phase on the kick. Oops. God, banger. Got through most of the track, Jesus. Yeah. That's something I feel like I've improved on a lot, is keeping the song interesting for as long as I keep my songs around, right? And Unyielding is no exception to that rule, especially since, I mean, you saw how far we stopped it in. Like, we very easily could have gone to the end of the track had I not stopped it there. My tracks, my goal now, instead of improving every single track, the more I make tracks, it's how can I keep this track that I'm currently working on interesting, still unique, but how do I keep this one interesting more than the previous one? How I can keep this one interesting for longer, even if, I'm making a longer track. So kind of like those questions, starting to answer the really nitty gritty stuff like, how is music enjoyable? It's kind of like how I've explored these last couple of years. And one of those is a track named Brave Shit. How do I keep the concept of dubstep interesting for myself? Infuse it with some fucking bullshit gated kick infused BS. I don't know. Make a fucking rave track that also is dubstep. It's like some kind of weird combination of elements that worked. As you can also tell, I've been experimenting with kind of strange pulses, where I like a regular pulse, but like there's strange like rhythm to it. I feel my sound design and everything about the tracks still me. Yeah, anyway. Oh man. I really liked what I did with rave shit, in all honesty. Probably one of the few tracks that I go back to a lot. Also, I started learning how to properly mix and master more often. Try to get a sausage fat mix without it sounding like a sausage. And tracks like Rave Shit and this next one here, Blazing Gaze, are no exception. Where they look thick, but they're still dynamic. And that's like the best combination you can get. But yeah, Blazing Gaze is up next. I wanted to bring in one of the tracks that I made for my EP Raw Data, which now I look at it, it's not really even an EP, it's more of like an LP. I chose this one in particular because it is probably the one track that really kind of encapsulates the idea I was going for with Raw Data as like a showcase more than it is a telling of a story. Like, this is what I can do, right? And it's also important for the fact that it has my vocals in it. Not many tracks I have my vocals in it. There's only a handful I can really count. I only can use both my hands, I think. And that's, let's see, Reach High 2.0, Thrill Ride 3.0 and 4.0. This track I'm about to show you. Grayscale, Declare War. That's as much as I can think of. Anyway, Blazing Gaze. I was super inspired by Odyssey Eurobeat. That should explain everything. Oh, no, too sorry. You know, that melody used to not be like that, too. They actually it was meant to have a different melody, but I changed it because this one fit a lot better. And I'm happy that I changed it. All right. We only got 2 years left, people. You can make it. I know I certainly can. God, I'm going to hate myself later for doing this. Moving from one hardstyle track to the next. Limbo started out 2021 because look, truth be told, I found a handful of samples, technically, from one of my favorite YouTubers, Andrew Huang, and Mary Spender and Rob Scallon. All of them kind of met it up together, and they all just kind of hung out in an anechoic chamber. and gave me some really good samples. So that's this track. I kind of wanted to go call back to the earlier days of euphoric hardstyle. Euphoric hardstyle is a dying art. I wanted to see if I could preserve some of it.
Physical thing around me, like there's a pressure.
It was so strange.
But here, it's pretty trippy. The volume drops out.
We were in this weird limbo environment.
It sounds like it's right here.
And it's going to be impossible to communicate through the camera what it's like to be in here, but just trust us, it is really odd.
There's some kind of pressure.
It's a very familiar sound.
And you don't get to experience this ever in the real world.
This super weird, crazy experience.
There is a place where space nor time exists, where heaven is light and hell is fire never penetrate the skies. In infinite darkness, where sound is your only guidance, a realm of pure serenity.
God, I really like that track too. I think the one thing that's like super kind of obvious about it is that my production value is getting really tight. Every new song after this is like the main focus of it being production value and trying to make the mix as sterile as I can while still having my own particular spin on it. Like maybe you guys have noticed as much as I have, but this down here, this spectrum, it's gotten flatter and flatter as time goes on. Just think about it. But next is Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites featuring Voxel Fourier. Look, I don't know what's going on. I saw the channel. You guys saw the channel. That Voxel Fourier character thing, whatever the fuck he is, he's uploading it by himself now. I have no control over that man. I thought it was a subroutine of the Venetin program. All I know is that somehow dude got into the channel and uploaded something. These traceback files are getting weirder and weirder. I don't know when the next one's gonna pop up. I'm not aware of when they pop up, if they even do. Like, I noticed that one popped up in the middle of the Capital Punishment video uploaded here. I didn't even know until like way later. Some Traceback 2, apparently. I didn't know that Traceback 1 was actually in the previous upload of the Cybergrind remix. I thought it was just a corrupt file, so I just re-uploaded it again, but no, it was stuck there. I thought I removed it. What they fucking do. Right? So yeah, we're dealing with a ghost in the machine now. It's fun. We're a completely functional artists here, I guess. Hey, I still remixed Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, right? The reason why I did this is because Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, at the time of making this, turned 10 years old. It's wild. So I wanted to pay homage to Skrillex by making some old school shit. Yeah, I know. I'm stopping it before the drop. Bleh. But, yeah, that exists. Honestly, I will never break away from the old sound design of yesterdecade. Can't believe I can use that now. It really does mean a lot to me to have grown up in an era like that, where dubstep was really at its prime. The know that's not anymore is heart-wrenching. Always was, always will be. So I kind of try and keep it alive myself. Although dubstep, I feel like, is a solved genre now, and that's why I'm so lacking motivation to make any more dubstep. Because after 2022 ended, I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do now? You'll see. Remember when I said that I wouldn't show the original and a different version of the original in the same compilation? Oh, I fucking lied. Or if I didn't say that, well, I'm gaslighting you now. Because Introduction is like the only one I planned for that was going to have its last iteration and its first iteration compared to in the same video. And Introduction 2021 is exactly that. I wanted to make a version of Introduction for me now. Well, as close to me now as you can get. Everything that I've learned up until Introduction 2021 was used in the best way I could possibly use it. And this was also when I first got Bitwig. So to my pals Whirlytail and Avanil, you guys helping me get Bitwig has changed my fucking life. I swear by it. This program is the best damn thing. I will swear by Bitwig until the day I die. Maybe. Unless something comes along that's better. But I seriously doubt that will happen. But Introduction 2021 wanted to showcase something more than just a handful of tracks, sort of representative of what I do. This was the true thing, though. So we're only going to listen past the first drop, because this song is also kind of long. But yeah. It was only possible because I still have my old sample pack for it. Or remix pack, technically.
You're probably wondering, what the fuck is a Venetin? That's me, idiot. Can't you believe I turned 21? It's unbelievable, I know. I'm still catching up. My music has stood 9 years of constantly evolving. Perhaps it is time to show you what power I've acquired. What the fuck is a Venetin? Yeah. God. I felt like that was really representative of who I am as a producer at this point. But we don't have much left to cover now, so I guess I'll take this time in the video to just say this now. If you like my music, please buy it off of Bandcamp, buy it off of the platforms that are being hosted. I don't care where you get your music from, like legitimately. I would be a hypocrite if I said I did. In any way you can to support me, please do so. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm just glad you're here. Okay. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you like my music. I'm glad that everything that I have built in these past 10 years has been truly something people want to listen to. And for the people that have been along this journey of mine,
past, present, and future, thank you very much. It means a lot more than you think, and a lot more than I show. When I was first starting music, just as a bit of Venetin history, I wasn't even making music on GarageBand or anything like that. You want to know where my first iterations of like any musicality came from? When my mom discovered I was banging on pots and pans as a kid. I was flipping the switch on the jukebox, the personalized jukebox in Silver Diner. When I was singing along or trying to play along to songs that I was watching or listening to on my iPod Touch, all these little things. And then it started clicking when I started making Spot remixes way back in the day. Because for those who don't know, I used to make Spot remixes purely for myself, but I did, except for the one that's on my channel, which, in all honesty, I don't know. I kind of stand by it. It's an old fad that people need to like either move on from or kind of just like stick to the principles with. Either way, I used to be a Spot remixer for myself and my friends through Audacity. And then after that, they saw my GarageBand work and my Audacity work, and they were like, oh, let's get into programming. And it was just all uphill from there. It was literally all uphill from there. For those of you who want to go out your way and make music, go do it, man. Don't be afraid of being the little guy, unable to think of or do anything professional, because I was there too. You heard it right here. I was making some really interesting things before I got it, and you'll get it eventually. Seriously, these 10 years have been crazy. So listen to the 10th year of production. Requiem for Ravenholm, a synthwave remix. I kind of tricked you earlier. I did make another remix or another synthwave thing. I want to make more synthwave shit. But this one that was inspired to via a friend of mine, my bestie, featured on my channel. They suggested to me, hey, I wish Requiem for Ravenholm got the same treatment as Tree Out of Dawn did. So I did. Yeah, I'd let that play out more, but we have other tracks to get through. I just like how different it is from this, from the entirety of the discography. Too bad I can't sell it, but I can give it away for free. It's gonna be in the pack. I promise. God. Probably the most fun I've had on a remix in a while. I gotta do this again. I need to make more synthwave. I just need to make more synthwave. And now for something completely different and actually technically usual for my brand. Capital Punishment. You've seen the video, hopefully. This was meant to be a demo track for Gearbox Digital, but they never got back to me. So, Gearbox, you haven't missed your chance, but I'm definitely not happy with you not getting back to me. I'm just going to say that. But I guess it's a closed submissions kind of deal over there, like every other fucking label does it. And even then, Extra Raw and Raw Style have really gone in the direction, and I just feel like it's already solved. Once again, the problem of the solved genre. Dubstep's done it. Now Raw Style's done it. Unfortunate. Wouldn't stop me from making it, though. So, yeah, we'll listen to this. This one is short, so we just listen to this in full. Yeah, so like the thing about that track is it's basically the start of me being confident enough to use my vocals in more tracks. And I'm practicing harsh vocals now. Been practicing them actually. That started way back in I believe June 2021. I was coming home from my hair appointment and I unlocked my fucking 5 stream. Just like that. Okay. Context. I'm a weird kid. I make noises all the fucking time. It was just inevitable that I was going to be able to find the actual proper technique to do my stupid fucking screeching that then turn it into proper, like, harsh vocals. So you'll be hearing that a lot more from now on. But last but not least, after this, we had the Blood Rave remix. This is the last track of 2022, and it is the last track of this showcase, all the same. So, yeah, I'll just let the track speak for itself. We only listen to, I'll cast the first drop. But yep. And that being said, well, you have just listened to, at least partly, 30 tracks spanning every era of Venetin, including the non-Venetin eras. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did learning the route that I took to becoming Venetin and where I've ended up. So, what's for 2023 and beyond? I don't know. I guess we'll just see. After all, you don't exactly have light in the abyss.